Now, once again, Raymond Arroyo.
Welcome back to The World Over Live. The world has been consumed with news of the radical terrorist attacks last week in Paris. But at nearly the same time, mass murders at the hands of Boko Haram were underway in Nigeria and received scant coverage. Aid agencies like Amnesty International have estimated that up to 2,000 people may have lost their lives during the recent assault by Boko Haram on the city of Baga in northwest Nigeria. The Nigerian government claims that only 150 people were killed. What's really going on, and where is the international outrage? To discuss is Edward Clancy. He's Director of Outreach for Aid to the Church in Need. He joins us from New York City. Edward, thanks for being here.
Thank you very much for having me, letting me speak on this topic.
So what does this mean? We have this great discrepancy. Why is the government only saying 150 people were killed when Amnesty and these other groups, the satellite imagery seems to show thousands were killed? What do your people on the ground say?
They say it's more than 150, definitely. The number 2,000, as speculated by certain groups, might be true, but it's not verified yet. We think that the reason why the number has been kept down is because of political reasons in the country, not to allow Boko Haram to seem as successful as they might have been in their recent attacks.
I want to play this for you. This is Secretary John Kerry in Europe. Here's what he had to say about this recent attack.
What they have done with respect to the slaughter recently is a crime against humanity, nothing less. It's an enormously horrendous slaughter of innocent people, and Boko Haram continues to present a serious threat.
Edward, why is there not more outrage in the press, in Europe, in the United States? And is the United States reaction sufficient in your mind?
It's definitely not sufficient. This is something that is eerily like ISIS in the fact that about 4 or 5 years ago, these radicals, these fundamentalists, started their violent activity back in 2009 and got very little coverage. And it was back in 2010, in October 2010, that the Islamic State bombed their first church. Just recapping this year, or this past year, we see 2014, there was major headlines when those girls, the 247 or so girls, were taken. And then everybody had "Bring Back Our Girls" or "Bring Home Our Girls." And there was, some media coverage of it. But right after that, there were other things that were happening, and they weren't covered. In fact, Boko Haram kidnapped the wife of the vice president of Cameroon. They also, since between August and October, right about the time that ISIS declared the Islamic Caliphate, started attacking churches, and 186 churches were bombed, burned, or destroyed. And you go searching for these articles or these news pieces, and they're scant or few, or they come from some foreign press agency with very bad English translation.
Yeah, people don't realize.
So the U.S. media hasn't covered it.
Yeah, no, we cover this almost weekly. We do a Boko Haram report, it seems. I mean, people don't realize in the last year alone, in 2014, 10,000 people were killed by Boko Haram, and that's probably a conservative estimate, considering some of the stories I've seen. I want to play this for people. This is Archbishop Ignatius Kaigama. He is issuing a plea to the world. Listen.
I see the very positive response of the French government in tackling the issue of religious violence and putting in all they can in order to ensure that this does not happen again. So we need that spirit to be spread around, not just when it happens in Europe, but when it happens in Nigeria, in Niger, in Cameroon, in any poor country.
The Archbishop is the Archbishop of Jos in Nigeria. Edward, will the world respond in the same way that they have in Paris? And what is the greatest need for the folks on the ground now?
I would hope that they would. Sadly, I think that it will be much less than what happened in Paris. The thing that's needed there is an opportunity for the young people to receive education and not to be indoctrinated in this brutality. And also, just like it's happening in the northeast of Nigeria, there is a generation being robbed of its opportunity. And you have countries where there's great body of Christianity. Here in the United States, many of our parishes have Nigerian priests and Nigerian people, and we're touched by that here locally. You know, many years ago we were missionaries there. Now they're missionaries here.
Yeah.
It's time we really do something. We really support them in many ways, in, you know, forcing their government to do something, creating international outrage, raising the awareness like EWTN is doing and like we at Aid to the Church in Need are trying to do, to have people understand the real problem.
Yeah, sadly, it is not getting the press attention. I don't think it will get the press attention. And the Archbishop is calling for a march, similar to what we saw, a March for Unity, similar to what happened in Paris. Even if it happened, I don't think we'd get the coverage that we saw in Paris.
Yeah, he just said that just a few minutes ago when he was boarding a plane, that he was speaking with the president and asking for national organization. But unfortunately, there's a lot of political pressures there, and the president is running for re-election. So we don't know necessarily what will happen of this, and we don't know if there's local leadership to take the flag and carry it forward. Yeah,
the impotence of the world community and the Nigerian government to stem this terrorist tide is just staggering. Edward Clancy, thank you for being here. You can find out more about the Aid to the Church in Need and the work they are doing in Nigeria and how you can help by going to churchinneed.org.